July 24th, 2014. I'm here with John O'Connell. He's going to show how this test iteration of suspension module V30 attaches to the tie rod ends.
Okay, so first, obviously we have these L brackets that are holding on to.
So here's our tie rod. This is the tie rod from a 2006 Honda Civic, attached to a Honda S2000 AP1 or AP2. The only difference is the steering ratio, not the length or geometry. S2000 steering rack, so it makes it extra long to fit our wide wheelbase. Now this part is a test part. This is our tie rod end adapter that John O'Connell has just milled on our milling machine out of 3/8 inch thick aluminum angle 6061 T6. And yeah, John, you made some custom washers for it. And what else? How did you do it?
Okay, so the reason we had to make the custom washers was because you can kind of see down here this tapered part of the bolt, or the smooth part of the.
This steering rod end is tapered. It gets thinner towards the top. And this hole we drilled with a standard milling machine drill, so it's straight. So John put washers on a landing after the taper, so we have the straight part of the tie rod end that's threaded.
Yeah, the reason we had to do that is because the hole that we milled was really wide
to allow for adjustability as a prototype.
Adjust it with a mill, and so what was going on was the taper end was just going right through the plate, and so it wouldn't tighten. So we ended up just I took a taper drill bit and modified a 3/8 hole to a I believe it was ½ inch. It was ½ inch, and then it was able to set on the landing and not go all the way down the end there. So now that we have this washer, it will be flat against this plate, and then it will actually be tight. Now we haven't tightened this yet, and we're going to go over that soon.
Actually, John, can you show the tightening method right now? Because I think you're ready.
So the reason we need help tightening this is because the threads in here are tight, or they're just old, they're rustic.
Well, we don't have a matching taper, which prevents this this bolt from twisting due to stiction. So it's always loose and it won't tighten. So John has developed a method to hold that bolt from turning.
What's going on is when I try to just leave it like this and I try to tighten the nut, the bolt just spins in place, and so we can't get it to tighten. So what I'm going to show now is if you have that kind of situation, this is what I used. If you have a better method, feel free to use it. But so we use just the standard pliers, and then we stick the inside part right here around this taper end. So it's just going to go in, and make sure not to catch on the rubber, otherwise you just squeeze all the lube out. So you want to make sure it just goes around that, just kind of sits there. And because the force is not up, I can't hold it tight enough. You can use some lock pliers and just tighten it right around. Just so I can actually have it correct. So actually, so now I got it on there, and it's not going anywhere. Just kind of make sure it stays in place. This particular nut is a metric nut. It's 17 millimeter ratchet wrench here, and I'm just gonna tighten it like that.
Check that we're straight. We want both suspensions to be pointed fully straight when we tighten down.
So and we have tightened the other side, so this is where, but we want to make sure it's straight before you actually tighten everything.
Why don't you just do this, because I'm not using the saw right now. I got to do a bunch of measurements.
And so now you can actually get it, and you can see it's kind of getting tight in there. So I'm going to unlock this just to make sure it's not going away. You can see it's tight.
Yeah.
As tight as we can get it.
Yeah, and for prototype testing, that's just fine. This thing will be tested at less than 5 miles an hour to verify the Ackerman adjustability is what we want, and then we'll keep making new of these tie rod adapters as we dial in the Ackerman adjustability to where we like. Then we will actually angle this hole. So the tie rod end sticks up and is tightened through stiction, and use a lock nut on top with a lock pin. At that point also we'll use 2 bolts here to prevent any type of loosening that could allow this to rotate, which
So
would
we're
give
not
play
actually
we don't
gonna
want in
have-
steering.
We're not actually going to have these washers on the final product.
We won't need them.
The only reason we have them today is because we need them just to keep it tight. But yeah, it's just a kind of a little neat little project to get all the adjustments ready. So now we can finally wheel it out just on its wheels. Do we have to get the rear suspension as well? Or?
We might put the rear on straight casters to test,
Okay.
but we could do exactly the same on the rear. So here's this car.
We are able to test it just because
Here's
the
its-
test is so light we can just wheel it on it. So.
Yeah, here's its pedal plate with, this is a test of suspension module V30, which is fixed using the tires as bushings.